What's up, Birds fans? Welcome to the Birds and Beers podcast. I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt.
Let's talk football.
Go Birds.
Alrighty, week 2, episode 2. Here we are. We're back after that unusual week 1 and then the short week. Yep. It made most sense to wait it out, evaluate, ponder.
See two games in a row, see if it's week 1 was a fluke, see if it was a problem. So I think week 1 has been beat to death by this point. Everyone knows what happened.
Agreed.
Let's get into week 2 versus the Vikings.
Yeah. What a eerily similar
start.
Difference. I don't know what words I'm looking for, but it was like a continuation of
the offense.
Week 1.
They get to a hot start, and then they sputter in the red zone,
mm-hmm.
the goal-to-go situation. And then it was just kind of nothing after that for a while. It was a little bit scary, but we'll get into all that. But first I want to talk about, what are we drinking today, Dave?
Drinking some beers.
So today we have the Lancaster Brewing Company Baked Pumpkin Ale. From,
I guess, Lancaster.
Yeah. Brewed in Lancaster. This is actually one of my favorite pumpkin beers.
Yep.
It's very, very good. So we'll be drinking that during this episode, and let's get into week 2.
Yeah. So week 2 was, as I said a minute ago, it was eerily similar to week 1. However, with week 1, they did have some weather to contend with, which they didn't have. Luckily, it was perfect.
Yeah, so you're kind of wondering at this point.
Yeah,
like,
how much of that was weather-related.
Yeah, how much of it was rust, how much of it was adjusting to a new offensive coordinator.
A little bit of both. All of the above, I guess, more than both.
And some of those play calls were pretty suspect.
Even the Vikings game was...
That's what I mean.
It left me scratching my head at a few times.
Some of those design runs for Jalen, they were doing it too much, and the offense clearly knew it was coming.
Yeah, I don't understand why he's still the feature running back in a running back by committee.
You kind of question why they went out there and revamped the entire backfield if we're just going to run Jalen every chance we get.
But then, luckily, they got away with that for a little bit. Well, got away from that.
Luckily, Minnesota kept giving us the ball back.
Yeah, they kept giving us gifts.
Like that could have gotten out of hand.
Giving us housewarming gifts for our home opener.
Yeah, thank you, Alexander Madison. Actually, you know what? First of all, I actually want to touch on that for a second, because I don't know if you saw this today, Dave.
Yeah,
Alexander Madison had gotten some pretty ugly DMs, and I actually want to say, for the record here, that there's absolutely no place for that. I want to make it clear that this did not come from Eagles fans.
Yeah.
So I saw a couple people out there on Twitter today who were kind of like conflating the two, and I want to make it clear these were Vikings fans in Alexander Madison's DMs on social media, calling him the N-word and all kinds of things, telling him that he should take his own life, and there's absolutely no freaking excuse for that.
Yeah.
There's no place for that in football or anywhere else for that matter, and I want to condemn that stuff in the strongest terms possible.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, a lot of things, we see this as entertainment. We see this as a break from life for a little bit. But these people are human beings with their own lives too, and from time to time, we saw it last week. With Jalen coughing up the ball, this is going to happen. It's part of the game. There's no excuse for that kind of behavior. So I want to just get that out of the way.
Because at the end of the day, these guys are at work for our entertainment.
Yeah, and we see it as
as in our personal lives, we all have bad days at work.
Yep, absolutely.
It's no different from a professional athlete. And
we see a lot of us out there see this as entertainment, our escape for the week, to get away from our problems. But how do you think they feel?
Yeah.
What's their escape?
Mm-hmm.
So, don't do that.
Their escape is go home, relax, open up their phone, see what they missed.
Yeah.
And find a bunch of disgusting...
It's absolutely unnecessary, unacceptable.
Hate mail,
and if you do it, you're a piece of shit, so...
Yeah. If you do that, fuck you.
Yeah. So...
moving on to some more positive things. Eagles found out that they're pretty damn good at running the football.
Absolutely. Hometown hero DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
looked absolutely dominant out there.
Yeah, it looked like he had been in this offense for years versus just a few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, he is...
I mean, nobody's been in this offense because it's a new OC.
Yeah, about that. I mean, but once they got him going, he just looked like he'd been...
keep feeding him the ball.
Yeah, I mean, he's the clear-cut or lead back in this offense right now. It's not even close.
Yeah, I feel bad for Kenny Gainwell, the veteran here on our team, but...
That was stupid. How the hell you gonna get fired on your day off?
Very
I love Kenny Gainwell, but look at the way DeAndre Swift ran the ball last night. He was bullying his way through his holes, and when there weren't holes, he was bouncing. Yeah, he was patient, bouncing to the outside when he needed to, and not just because he could or wanted to. His ball carrier vision was on a Madden would have been like a 99 last night. He was awesome, and if he's not the clear cut number one lead back going forward, then I really don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I agree.
So defense, let's talk about that.
Yeah, some flashes of greatness from the D-line, and obviously they're playing without a few key players in the secondary, so they kind of get a pass. But overall,
I mean, I give them more than a pass. They took the ball away 3 times.
Yeah.
They held the running game to 45 yards or something like that. Justin Jefferson got his, but they kept him out of the end zone.
But Justin Jefferson does that to everybody he plays, except for
Slay last year.
except for that one game last year.
Yeah, Father-Son Day 2022. But the one time they did make a big play, there was a clear hold on that Jordan Addison touchdown that wasn't called.
And also, thanks for the touchback. We haven't seen that in a long
time. yeah. Finally, something like that works in our favor. Yeah. Even though it's a stupid rule, it needs to go. It's easily by far the dumbest rule. And you can fumble the ball at the 1 yard line and retain possession, but you do it 2 inches over the chalk, and suddenly it's a turnover. It makes no sense. The league should get rid of it. But last night, I'll take it.
I'll take it. Yeah.
That was a big break for us too.
It was.
And then to Brian Johnson's credit and Nick Sirianni's credit, they weren't content with just going into halftime. They went down and got points. Was that the Elliott 61-yard field goal?
Yeah.
Shout out to Jake Elliott. How about that guy?
Yeah, and all the fantasy owners that have him.
Yeah,
pretty happy.
Yeah, I was in my league. I was projected to lose something like 57-42, but after that field goal, I jumped 15%, and I'm actually in the lead now after Devontae Smith's performance last night too, because I have him also. So, I'm pretty happy as far as that goes. I'm happy as far as the Birds go. Special teams, the good and the bad. Britton Covey had that fumble. Thankfully, I think it was Kelly Ringo that jumped on it.
I think so. Yeah.
They took away the ball on special teams but there was also problems on that too, because he was pretty. He ran into the open field and there wasn't an eagle around him until he coughed up that football, and thankfully they were able to jump on it. But there's still some stuff that needs to be cleaned up on special teams as well. So that second half though, it was a tale of two halves.
Yeah, that was. I'm speechless
that's
in
a good
terms
sign
of how well they adjusted, because as Philly fans, we're used to just, I guess today we're just going to suck today.
Last week was kind of like we're not going to do anything different, and thankfully we were able to come up with the win. But last night that was
not the case.
Absolutely not, and that's something we should look forward to going forward. Like they realized what they were doing. They were doing
their feet there.
Wasn't working, and they tried something different, and it worked. And hats off to Nick, hats off to Brian Johnson, and the players even for executing better than they did in the first half.
Yeah, I also feel like as the game went on, it felt like the rust was just kind of coming off a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. You could definitely tell
because Jalen, he had that bad interception.
Yeah.
Just bad. He clearly decided that he was throwing that ball to that location before he even read what the coverage developed into, and because that's not the Jalen we know, and that's clearly just rust from not playing since February.
It was a bad decision on his part, but at the same time, I kind of wonder whether the offensive line played into that a little bit because they were very shaky in that first half.
But no, not only that, but it showed in the later on in the game where versus a very almost the same exact look, he reads it and throws that bomb touchdown to Devontae.
Yeah, and he had give him some credit here too because he had a linebacker right in his face and still made that throw. It was almost a perfect throw.
Stood in there and delivered it.
So that's a positive too. Going forward. Some general observations for this game. What else did you see that you liked?
Apparently, I mean, this isn't really game related, but apparently the stadium has new software where they can access your phone.
Yeah, how about that?
And make a light show. It's kind of weird, but cool at the same time.
Yeah, all the tinfoil hat wearers out there are probably freaking out right now.
Yeah.
But actually, you know what? So there's this new segment that Dave and I came up with, and it kind of goes back to...
a little brief history here. Yeah,
it goes back to our grandfather, Bill Santangelo. And we posted about this on our Instagram. If you want to give us a follow, we're at Birds and Beers Pod. We posted about this on Instagram before week 1. And I want to give a brief history about who our grandfather was, because this guy is why we are Eagles fans. Not only because it's... we're from the Philadelphia area, born and raised.
Raised to be.
We were...
Eagles fans.
Yes. We saw his passion. This guy is the epitome of what it meant to bleed green. Mm-hmm. So, he was born, and he had 5 siblings. He was born in the height of the Great Depression, and when he was a preteen, his parents couldn't afford him anymore, or his siblings. So they gave him up, put him in an orphanage, and unspeakable horrors happened to them there. And he became, once he was, he discovered the Eagles, and that was his escape every week. Watching the 49 teams, and he eventually got out of there by joining the Army. He lied about his age when he was 16, joined the Army, and he turned 18 on the battlefields of Korea. But this guy, he had season tickets from... He and his brother-in-law had season tickets from the 1961 season, mm-hmm. and our grandfather Bill gave up his because he was pissed that the Eagles let Eric Allen go. So he gave his up, but our Uncle Billy, one of the greatest men alive, still has his.
We need to get him on the show.
Yeah, we have to get him on the show. He's a classic. But, so, fast forward, Pop-Up, as we called him, had this thing where he would do every week, and something bad would happen to the Eagles, and he'd go, "Oh, you turkey!" And it's just the weirdest thing, like, how is that an insult? Like, how did he come up with that? But it was a mainstay on Sundays.
Yeah, maybe there's some old-timers that might be listening that can maybe
please let us know.
So maybe that was a thing back in the day.
Please let us know, because I've been dying for decades, been dying to know where that comes from. But it was hilarious to watch him go, "Oh, you turkey!" Because you expect he gets up and he would get fired up, and you expect him to be like drop some F-bombs, but instead he goes, "Oh, you turkey!" So one of the things we wanted to do is come up with a turkey of the week. Mm-hmm. Somebody who does something stupid, an opposing fan base that makes an ass out of themselves, someone in the game who messes up, or whatever. So I have one that I want to let out. Do you have one?
Not at the moment.
So my turkey of the week goes to everybody out there who doubted Jordan Davis.
Yeah.
He wasn't a pass rusher. He's not an every down player. He's not this. He's not that. Well, eat your words, because he looked amazing last night.
He did.
He single-handedly collapsed pockets on numerous occasions. Made people look silly out there. Pushed the whole pocket into... It had his first career sack.
Before he was even out of his reverse pivot.
He looked like a man among boys out there last night. So my turkey of the week is all of you idiots who doubted this guy, because he is awesome. He's that dude. And that's my turkey of the week.
I like it.
So,
This baked pumpkin ale is pretty tasty.
so good. I love this stuff. And it's great timing, too, because the weather the last couple of days.
Yeah, it's fall now.
It's just getting to that point where, like, it's not quite hoodie weather, but you still feel that chill in the air, and it's perfect football weather.
Mm-hmm.
So, next week, we got Tampa.
Yeah.
It's not a team I really know what to make of yet. Everybody expected them to be terrible post-Brady. They played last week? Minnesota.
Yeah.
They beat Minnesota last week.
Yep.
Baker Mayfield looked like he was a competent quarterback. Was that an aberration? Are they going to surprise some people this year? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't know. That seems so weird right now. I mean, they're clearly in their post-Brady era.
Maybe they don't even know what they're going to be.
Yeah.
They haven't found their identity yet.
Yeah.
So we have them next week. We have 11 days rest, thank God, because we need it. Hopefully, Reed Blankenship and
week.
James Bradbury and Fletcher Cox. And
I'll come back.
we'll all have time to rest. It's 1 week less, so we'll have to worry about Nakobe Dean being out, even though he's not going to be back for a few weeks still.
Yeah, what a shame that was.
Oh, another thing I wanted to talk about. Josh freaking Sweat.
Yeah.
How amazing was he out there last night? I mean, he looked good
Just flying around.
He looked good in week 1 too, but boy, he bull rushed that Vikings right tackle and ended the season. Not that we want to cheer for anyone getting hurt because we don't, but geez, what?
Yeah.
He would have had a few more QB hits and maybe even sacks if it wasn't for some questionable holds that were called. But boy, he looked awesome out there. So that's something to look forward to going forward as well. So, so we got at this point 10 days off until we see the Eagles in action again. And
I know it's good. Like, I like Thursday games because it's like, yeah, our birds are here a couple days early. But now, come Sunday, it's like,
what are we going to do? But at the same time,
we
like,
just get to sit back and watch football and enjoy it and not have to have the frustration and or anxiety.
As much as the injuries hurt Sunday and last night, at least at this point in the schedule, this little mini bye week couldn't have come at a better time. So hopefully they'll be rested up. They'll have 11 days to prepare for adjustments. And we'll see him again in action against Tampa on September 25th. So, is that it for this episode?
No, there's one thing. Did anybody else catch Al Michaels slip up last night?
I did. I absolutely did. Welcome back to Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia.
There's no way he meant that for real, right? Or was he just playing? Al Michaels,
He's one of my favorites.
He likes to giggle and poke fun when it's needed.
That is true. He could have been just patrolling us.
Right?
Maybe he was in the moment because I think they showed a nice aerial view of the stadium. I don't know what's going on there, but
it was funny.
Yeah. Took me back to the days of the 700 level. I was hoping to see some flare guns fire up or some good brawls or whatever, but so is that it?
I think so. With that, we'll finish this baked pumpkin ale and good. Maybe have another.
After several more.
And if you haven't tried it yet, you're missing out.
So I want to thank our listeners or listener. Hi, Mom. We mentioned earlier, you can follow us on Instagram at Birds and Beers Pod.
We're on YouTube. Apple Podcasts.
We're on Twitter because I refuse to call it X. Fuck you, Elon. We're at Birds and Beers with Z's because I think it was already taken. I don't know. I think there's another pod out there where people actually literally, I'm not kidding, I think it's like a bird watching enthusiast pod where they talk about birds and drink beers, which is kind of cool. I like it.
We should do a collab.
Yeah, we should. Absolutely. We'll do a little crossover. So if you're feeling especially toasty like we are right now, check out patreon.com and buy us a beer. Patreon.com/1403media. And that is it. Go Birds.
That's it. Go Birds. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Go Birds.
Go Birds.